Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, I'd like to invite the speaker, Mr. Amar Patel, who will talk about decentralized biogas plants, that is Gas, a sustainable energy solution for farmers. I now request the speaker to begin. Thank you.
Do I start now? Good
Yes,
afternoon.
you can start.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to the management and team out here. I will quickly start to Kisan Gas and the benefits of biogas, and we'll also go through the basics of biogas. And why biogas is very important for Indian landscape and especially smallholder farmers. 58% of our Indian population is actually dependent on agriculture for their livelihood, and majority of them do have cattle. Almost 53% of our land is affected by soil erosion and low soil carbon, thereby reducing productivity of our soil as compared to other regions. As we all know, rising fertilizer prices along with low prices of farm output make it very unsustainable to farming families. And yet, from methane hotspot emissions, 63% of India's agricultural methane emissions actually comes from livestock. So biogas offers a very solid, sustainable, renewable energy source, which helps you to manage your waste, reduce methane emissions, and also improves farm efficiency. Now, this in itself is a good package which comes with a lot of government support and NGO supports, right? So, just in brief, what we do when I mentioned what kind of support it comes in. So, we are Kisan Gas. We deploy decentralized farmer biogas systems across the country, and we do it in association with strategic partners like NGOs and FPOs who help mobilize farmers. We have solid support from Sustain Plus Energy Foundation, which is a group of Tata trusts, and they are our CSR or funding partner. And with their help only, we are able to give approximately a single biogas unit at 35,000, which normally would cost 35,000 rupees, for approximately 14,000 for each farmer. So these are the projects that we mobilize and deploy. Basics of biogas. For those who don't understand what biogas is, basically when any organic waste decomposes, it generates methane. So biogas is basically a natural gas which is produced when organic materials break down without oxygen. Now, this gas basically contains methane, large component of methane, carbon dioxide, and trace elements of H2S and other gases. Methane is what actually makes the biogas useful for cooking and heating purposes. The basic flow of a biogas process is simple as in 4 steps. You have to mix the cow dung or organic waste with water, dilute it, and put it in the digestion tank where microorganisms break down cow dung or waste in the absence of oxygen. From this particular process, methane is generated, and we can collect this methane and channelize it to either the kitchen or some other purposes. And we can also collect the slurry output, which is the leftover liquid which comes out as a fertilizer or manure. So biogas basically turn farm waste into two valuable products. It's one gas which can be used for energy. You don't have to require any LPG in heating and cooking purposes. It also provides slurry, which is a vital manure for crops. So primary use is cooking at home, which helps you reduce LPG expenses, and also use of organic fertilizer or slurry. Some people always think LPG and biogas, how is it different? Biogas is very safe as compared to LPG. Primarily, it spreads quickly in the air if it's leaked, so it doesn't retain. Also, like LPG, does not form or stay on the ground, so explosion or fire safety is very high as compared to LPG. Now, what are the basic components of a biogas system? As we mentioned, one, you have an inlet, then you have a digester tank, and you have gas holding tank along with a pipeline which sends the gas after scrubbing it for H2S, which gives you a rotten egg smell. So H2S scrubber, then sometimes gas does also has moisture. So moisture trap is one of the key elements. And also you have a pressure relief valve, which helps you to safely pass on the excess gas. And as the slurry is collected, there's a slurry outlet bag also. This image would help you understand what are the basic components. Here we've used Kisan Gas, our proprietary and patented technology. It has the feeding tank, which you can see on the right. and it is connected to the cooking gas and stuff. Now, additional elements also include slurry filters for advanced use of slurry. A lot of farmers who use drip irrigation can use the slurry after filtration through these special filters. Now, biogas is a digestive system, something similar to our stomach, right? And the digestive process that our food converts energy in our stomach and intestines. Ideal working temperature conditions are 30 to 37 degrees. These are ideal, but it will always work and give you results for any temperature above 15 degrees also. It requires normal pH levels of 6.5 to 7.5. And the slurry which we need to input has to be in semi-liquid form. And it would take roughly 40 to 60 days to process. And it would work best when you regularly feed it with properly mixed diluted slurry or cow dung and waste, and only organic waste needs to be added to it, and slurry has to be removed from the system and used appropriately. This is when you'll get the best output of your biogas. Now, this gives a reference to farmers of, if you have 3 cattle or 4 cattle or 5 cattle, how much is the savings or how much is the generation that you can have from this particular unit. Now, the unit we're talking about is a 2 cubic meter, which basically generates 2 cubic meters of gas every day. This would ideally require 50 to 60 kgs of cow dung, along with mixed with 50 to 60 liters of water. Uh, if you have 5 cattle, which can give you approximately 50 kgs of cow dung, you can cook for almost 5 to 6 people 2 times a day. Right? So even a large family of 5 to 6 people with having 5 cattle can easily save 100% expenses on LPG and firewood. So if you're using one gas cylinder a month and you're buying it roughly at 900 rupees or 1000 rupees, you're bound to save almost 12,000 rupees if you have 5 cattle using the biogas alone. There are additional savings which you can reduce fertilizer expenses by using slurry. So minimum you can save is 22,500 rupees if you have 5 cattle and you are using this biogas on a day-to-day basis. Now, people generally would have questions about what other input materials that can be used in the biogas. Definitely, we can use cow dung, buffalo dung, some poultry litter, pig manure, kitchen waste, vegetable waste. But there are ways and means how to use it. So for kitchen waste, just like we chew our food, we need to actually chop it down before we feed it into the biogas system. So ideally, you need to speak to the biogas provider before making additional uses of input material, so that nothing goes wrong with the system. Now, coming to the major topic of it, how does biogas help soil and how would it help me increase my output if I'm a farmer? Now, biogas slurry is gold in its actual terms, right? It's a nutrient-rich organic fertilizer which provides nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, along with micronutrients and beneficial microbes. It can be used at various stages, right from soil preparation to seed or root treatment. It used as a crop fertilizer, as a natural pest control mechanism. And also after all of this is done, you can definitely make much better compost using your biogas slurry. Of course, there are caveats. As we all know, we don't apply cow dung directly to leaves or plants. So biogas slurry similarly has to be used only in diluted form. It has to be applied properly to the soil and not and has to be usage has to be stopped at least 3 weeks before harvest to avoid any kind of contamination. Also, we must maintain basic hygiene for using slurry. And again, before you make specific uses, please speak to the operator or the service provider. Now, why is biogas slurry so important and how it rates as compared to other fertility systems? Now, we as farmers would probably use composting, fertilizers to improve the soil health and plant productivity. Biogas slurry rates one of the highest in all of this because primarily it comes, if you're using a biogas, it comes basically free to you, right? So it's a very low cost or as good as free. It gives you so many nutrients and it makes nutrient availability to crops highly and readily available. It gives balanced nutrition along with microbes and micronutrients, and it impacts soil health with the help of these microbes, and it improves the soil structure, which also increases the soil and water holding capacity. So you have better moisture for the soil, thereby better nutrition to the roots and plants. And again, when we consider the climate and or environment impact, it's a highly sustainable technology. Just look at how much you can save if you have a family household gas, right? Per acre productivity, if you're using vegetables, you're saving as good as 5,000 to 6,000 rupees per acre, because you're spending almost 10,000 rupees an acre for growing vegetables. Whereas with biogas slurry, you just have to spend around 3,500. Similarly, if you're growing sugarcane or cotton, again, you would be saving anything between 5,000 to 7,000 rupees per acre. In addition to this, you are saving LPG costs and definitely reducing your fertilizer purchases. So net, it can help save a family anywhere between 15,000 to 40,000 rupees per year, which is a substantial component of what a farmer household income. So in short, this is a complete circular nutrient cycle of a biogas farm. The cow dung is generated to provide you cooking energy, which is basically the gas for the kitchen, right? It also gives a slurry which can be used as organic fertilizer, which enriches your soil and provides you healthy crops. It can be also used to give you sustainable farming. Couple of stories from our installations. We have Mr. Dattatray Guge, who has almost brought down his fertilizer procurement to just 10 to 20% by using biogas slurry. And also Mr. Govind Dhakne, who's brought it down to just 5%. So initially he was using 100% chemical fertilizers. Now he barely uses 5% of it as compared to earlier. All of this is made possible by making 100% benefit of the slurry that is provided to him by the subsidized biogas. Now, coming to a little bit about our product and model, you must have seen multiple types of biogases, some which are under the ground, some which are plastic tanks, some primarily are concrete tanks which are constructed. We make simple PVC grade, high quality material where we are giving you 10-year digester warranty. Now, this is an above the ground design, which is a very unique proposition. The above the ground design makes it easier to handle and transport. You can, if you want to shift it, you can easily shift it. You just need to remove the slurry and pack it and shift it. Right? Since it's above the ground and not, you don't need to excavate any ground, it can meet oil soil conditions. It's a very modular design. And same kind of ease is translated to use and maintenance. So very easy sludge removal, it needs very little care and gives you very high life and reliability. As I mentioned earlier, basic comparison of Kisan Gas with other technologies. As I mentioned, right, this is anaerobic digestion. So when your concrete biogases would have any leakages inside and air passing in, that will affect your overall treatment and reduce your output. Kisan Gas is completely sealed and welded at sides, so you will not have any ingress of air from outside. Thereby, it will give you the best results throughout its lifetime. This material is much stronger, durable, and higher tensile strength as compared to underground systems. So it will last you much longer, and it will not be easily contaminated or by it will not be damaged by rodents, rats, and any other animals which could pose a threat to it. It's very easy to maintain. You can remove the sludge and slurry and also reuse the slurry. Primarily, we also have designed this with a conscious mind in terms of saving water. So for us, our system, in case of 50 kgs of cow dung, you just need to add 50 liters of water. Many other systems would require you to use 100 liters of water. A little bit more about our company. We are a part of Cleanergy Tech Solutions. We make waste treatment solutions primarily for biogas and natural gas generations. We are supported by many well-wishers, and us, and we also make slurry systems and the entire systems for large biogas and CBG plants also. Tata Projects is one of our large clients where we've made them a food waste plant like other hotels also for biogas. This works on food waste plants, on food waste, and it replaces almost 63 commercial cylinders a month. We've also made a 25-ton input feed capacity per day Napier grass plant. Thank you. That's the end of our presentation. If you have any queries or questions, I'll be happy to help.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Amir, for the presentation. Now I'll take up some questions. Okay. Just 1 second.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So the first question is, what is the working model of a decentralized biogas plant for farmers?
Right. So exactly the one which I showed you is a decentralized household level biogas system. Now these systems are, as I mentioned, 2 cubic meters is ideal for someone who would have 5 to 6 or 8 cows, and it can input maximum 6 cattle worth of cow dung. If people are looking at people who have 10 and 12 cattle, but also have a much larger family, because you have to balance both things out. You may have 10 cattle, but you have only 4 members in your family, right? So you don't need dung from 10 cattle total. You just need 5 to 6 cattle. So 2 cubic meter is an ideal size for people with 5 to 6 family sizes and having at least 5 to 6 cattle. Anything more, you can have a system which is a higher capacity.
Okay. Yeah. So how much cattle dung or organic waste is required to run a small Kisan Gas plant?
So ideally, we're looking at anything about 20 to 30 kgs. So 2 cattle minimum. And since you're looking at, you're looking at food waste, which is very little and negligible when it comes to farmer households, we don't rely much on food waste. So cattle waste or cow dung is the most important input material out there. So effectively answering 20. So all you have to consider is one cattle is equivalent to one person's food 2 times a day. So if you have 3 cattle, it can help you to make at least food for 3 to 4 people twice a day.
Okay. And what is the initial investment and payback period for farmers?
So if you're looking at a price, if you're looking at buying it right from the market at 35,000 rupees, I think your payback period is going to be around 3.5 years. But there are government subsidies based on the place you stay and the budgets are out there. So governments give you subsidies of almost 14,500 a year per unit, right? If I add that subsidy, then you're looking at a payback period of 1.5 to 2 years. Now, the life of these systems you can consider is anywhere between 15 to 20 years, right? So if you're saving 15 to 20,000 1 year, you're going to save almost 3 lakh rupees for 20 years. So payback period without subsidies around 3 years, and with subsidy support is close to 1.5 year max.
Okay. And can the biogas slurry be effectively used as a fertilizer in crops?
Absolutely. As I showed in my slides, uh, it can be used right from your soil, preparing of seeds to various part of the plants. Also used as fertilizer and pesticide.
Okay. And how much cooking gas or electricity can a small plant generate daily?
See, cooking gas, as I mentioned earlier, 2 cubic meter is equivalent to 1.5 gas cylinders a month, right? So you're looking at 21 kgs of LPG equivalent a month in ideal working conditions. When it comes to electricity, the costs are slightly prohibitive. You might have to incur much higher costs as compared to the benefits that you'll get out of it. So any electricity generation can be only considered for very large capacities.
Okay. Just 1 second. Okay. And are there any government subsidies or schemes for installing biogas plants?
Yes, the MNRE provides you a subsidy of approximately 14,350 rupees per biogas unit. It also gives you a subsidy for slurry filter, which is approximately 1,650. Again, depends on the state where you're operating. Northeastern states have a slightly higher subsidy, and certain classes also have a slightly higher subsidy. But bare minimum 14,350 is the subsidy which the government provides through MNRE.
Okay. And what are the maintenance requirements and technical challenges?
Right. So I'll just take a little bit more time on this.
Sure.
Now, when we input cow dung, we're adding waste to it sometimes. Cow dung comes with straw, stakes, things which can probably choke the system out there. So sometimes you are faced with blockages, which can simply be removed by clearing up the inlet pipe, right? Number two, the dilution has to be perfect. Now, if the dilution is slightly improper, the digestion takes time, so you have to keep it diluted. Three, since the output gas has moisture in it, the moisture can get trapped, uh, especially in terms of rainy season and other times. Also, when there are bends in the pipe, you'll find moisture like lying around. All you need to do is bend the pipe accordingly and make way for the moisture to pass out. You also have an H2S filter, which basically removes the H2S. Otherwise, your gas would smell like rotten eggs. The H2S filter has iron mesh inside to filter out the H2S. After 5-6 months, the iron mesh uh, gets consumed, so you have to replace it. You can do it right at your home. You just need to open the PRV and replace it with the iron mesh you use for cleaning utensils. You just stuff 2 or 3 of these, and you can get it back to normal for 6 to 8 months. The final and main thing is the pressure relief valve, which helps you transfer excess gas. Now, all you need to do with this is make sure that it is filled with water. If you if there's gas passed and there is lesser water in the system, excess gas will pass out. So you will get lesser gas to use. These are the basic requirements for maintaining and operating a typical biogas unit. From our experience of farmers where we have deployed our biogas units, we've hardly got cases which are outside the farmer's purview. So 100% of things, close to 100% of maintenance and repairs can be done by the farmers themselves.
Right. Okay. And,
I just forgot, just like moisture, you also have leakages of gas, probably at joints and other places. All you need to do is rejoin them using a Teflon tape connector.
okay. And can farmer groups or FPO set up community level biogas plants?
Absolutely. There are a lot of cases where cooperatives or larger decentralized systems have been done. But primarily, we need to take care of two things out here. What are we making the end use of the gas? Are we passing it out to individual households? Then what is the cost of laying those lines out there? Right? And how are we making use of the slurry? So if that math works out well, it's definitely another enterprising option. Even better if you can have excess gas which can be sold off to our commercial entities. To give you a simple reason, our household gas costs us rupees 1,000 approximately. But if a restaurant is buying it, he's buying the same amount of gas for roughly 2,000 rupees. So at a community level, if you're generating this kind of gas and you're able to sell this gas to a commercial enterprise, you will make much more benefits of the entire system. And of course, you can repurpose the slurry to make prom and other value added alternatives, which can be sold or commercially for commercial reasons.
Okay. And next question. How does biogas help in reducing chemical fertilizer and energy costs on the farm?
So energy cost is primarily linked to your LPG wastage only, right? Unless it's a much larger scale where you can use that particular energy for other means, but it has to be made sure that, as I mentioned earlier, it has to be a larger size requirement. Sometimes it's possible that larger farms would have diesel generators. This biogas can be reconnected using a small hybrid module which is connected to your diesel generator. It helps you reduce your diesel cost by 50% straight away. Ma'am, could you repeat the first part of the question?
Yeah,
Energy
one
and
second.
fertilizer, right? So why do we buy fertilizers? It's primarily for either nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, or potassium, whereas slurry is giving the right elements, including, as I mentioned, the NPK, right? So sustained use of slurry will definitely make sure that one, your soil health improves. Two, over a sustained period of time, you will definitely reduce your dependence on chemical fertilizers. So your costs year by year will keep on reducing. So in the initial year itself, we can expect
Okay.
anything between 15 to 20, 25% of fertilizer cost coming down.
Okay. And what are the successful case studies of Kisan Gas plants in rural India?
Right. So we have a range of use cases in terms of applications. Of course, all of them are farmers with cattle. Uh, but we have cases in tribal areas where people have very little subsistence farming, but they primarily survive on the cattle that they have. This is where the biogas has helped them to reduce the critical cost of LPGs. Now, in tribal areas, it's very difficult to source an LPG cylinder. So either they have to survive on firewood, which is very unhealthy option of cooking gas. So Kisan Gas has helped them to give them a clean energy alternative from the cattle dung that they have. Two, with a lot of farmers, as I mentioned with the two case studies out here, many of our farmers have been using the slurry for the best benefits, and they've reduced fertilizer cost by almost 80-90% in some cases.
Right. Okay. Okay, Mr. Amar. So I don't see any more questions. So
Sure.
before we wind up, anything you would like to mention, which is very important as a final
So,
thing?
so I would definitely say, for a sustainable future, what I've been noticing with farmers is every year for the same set of field, we are using more and more fertilizers. But that does not help us grow more crops necessarily. And it does not get us a better price in the market. So when we say by using organic fertilizer or organic manure like slurry, we are not only saving fertilizer cost, we are also increasing output. The health of the crops, health of the soil is changing and improving better for the future. Our soil is improving, our crops are improving. So we're getting more crop and we're getting more crop at a much lesser cost. So definitely one and all farmers must use biogases and make benefit of systems and financial support which governments give, or when we are working with Sustain Plus, they are helping us giving the biogas at a much subsidized cost. So as I mentioned, you don't have to pay 35,000 rupees. You just have to pay 13,000, 14,000 rupees when you work with us. You can make avail of these benefits. So if you have an FPO, if you're a part of an organization and would want to deploy this in your community, definitely reach out to us.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Mr. Amar. So now we have come to end of question round. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we'd like to thank you for the presentation, answering all the questions. So we'll be ending this meeting now, and we'll upload the recording of this meeting to YouTube channel.
Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks.